Jake McGee now available. First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Jake, after the game yesterday, Kenley said that he thought his stuff was pretty good, just the broken bat single and then the flare, and ultimately just soft contact is what beat him and a couple of defensive miscues. Can you appreciate that as a reliever when you believe you have your stuff, it's just the result that isn't there?
Yeah, I think here especially there's, they tell us to trust our stuff, and if our stuff's good and, you have bad results, you want to, don't want to dwell on the results more than – if your stuff's moving the right way and you're making executing pitches, sometimes you have to tip your cap if it's a broken bat single and, and keep your head up and go the next day.
As a reliever, you also don't necessarily know when you're going to pitch again. How difficult do you think it is to kind of just wash this off as a pitcher and move toward the next outing?
I think as reliever wise, it's very good to have amnesia, especially like someone like Kenley. He's been doing it for a long time and in the playoffs for a long time. You can tell by his comments saying that, it's just today's a new day. And I think we just take it one day at a time and wash last night behind us.
Thank you.
Next question's from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Jake, is it nice to be able to play the next day and to be able to come out the next day after, an ending like that, just to be able to kind of move past it quicker?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it'll dwell more with this team because our team's very close and, it seems like everyone just, washed it away and ready to come back today and play another game and, take one game at a time. I think it's good to play all these games in a row, even though it's good to have the off days this World Series so far.
Next question's from Hardik Castillo. Go ahead.
Jake, you mentioned this team's very close. You jumped in here kind of late. Just wondering if you can describe how close this team is and what makes this team, capable, resilient enough to move past what happened last night.
For this team, I feel like from the first guy on the roster to the last guy on the roster, everyone gets along really well. And, before I even got here, they've been to World Series 2 out of the last 3 years, and that makes a group strong, especially, it gets stressful in the playoffs, but it feels like it brings the whole team together and closer, for the families to the players. I think, as a team as a whole, it makes everyone closer.
Thank you.
Next question from Bradford Davis. Go ahead.
Hi, Jake. You spoke a little bit about the importance of, washing away yesterday. I know David Price said the same thing on Twitter, actually, and so I guess I'm curious, what do you do, whether it's telling yourself something, after a rough game or a routine that you have to, really flush, a tough game away?
I think from my first few games in the big leagues, it was I have a bad game at 20, 30 minutes after the game, or when you leave the field, like just try to wash it away. Sometimes they linger a little longer, but once you wake up the next day, you just start fresh and do your routine and feel like the routine the next day and stick with it. And that usually helps a lot. For reliever wise, like I said, with having amnesia, you kind of have to wash it away because if not, it comes back the next day.
Was there anyone, I guess, especially you mentioned, learning it early in your career, is there anyone that you admired, when you were breaking into the league that, did a great job of just kind of having that amnesia, as you said?
There's a few guys in bullpen who I call up with Tampa, like Grant Balfour and Chad Qualls and Rafael Soriano, like learning from those guys when I first got called up and who've been in the league for a while. I think that's what some of the older guys here help a lot of the young guys to, wash away the next day and, don't dwell on it too much.
Thank you.
Next question from Ken Gurnick. Go ahead.
Jake, I know your usage has been a little erratic in the postseason. Are you healthy? And if so, are you able to stretch out at least beyond an inning?
Yes, I've actually been used for multiple innings, or not more than 2 innings, but I am healthy, and I think when the matchups line up the right way, like the last series against Atlanta, I knew I had really good matchups, and here I have good matchups too. It just depends on the game and kind of where it is in the lineup, but I feel good. I'm healthy and I'm ready to go.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Jake? Thanks, Jake.